Fukui continues to surprise me. In part 1, we explored temples, nature, and local food across Fukui. But today, let's begin with one of the most stunning viewpoints in the region, the Rainbow Line Summit Park. It is an 11-kilometer scenic toll road running through the mountains, providing access to top-down views of these lakes and leading to the summit park. The excitement kept building, and when we reached the top, I understand why this place is famous. A full 360 degrees view of 5 lakes. Clear skies, perfect weather. It felt like the world opened up. The Mikata 5 lakes are a group of 5 connected lakes in Fukui. What's really interesting is that each lake has a different mix of salt water and fresh water. It's a very breathtaking view, and the autumn season was perfect. This place is one of the best summit views I've experienced in Japan. Good morning! I started my morning with breakfast and a really nice view of the beach, a good way to begin the day. After eating, I walked around the area for a bit and noticed something interesting. These mermaid statues by the sea. They're quite unique and unexpected. There's actually a local folklore connected to mermaids in this area. It adds a bit of mystery to this seaside town. After that, it was time for the cruise. This tour explores the coastline of Wakasa Bay, which is known for its dramatic cliffs and rock formations shaped by the sea. You'll pass steep cliffs, caves, and unusual rock shapes that have formed naturally over many years. Seeing them from the water gives a completely different perspective. At one point, the boat stops and everyone gets a few minutes to step out and look around. It's a great photo spot, and the views are really impressive up close. The cruise is a relaxing way to experience this coastline. Scenic, peaceful, and a little bit mysterious too. After returning to shore, we continued our trip to explore more local spots nearby. As a fishing enthusiast, this place feels like paradise. Fresh seafood everywhere. Clean, organized, full of energy. You can even grill what you buy here. I was so tempted, but I will save it for the next time. Come early. Mornings are when everything comes alive. Just nearby from the Sotomo cruising area is this museum. It was surprisingly immersive and honestly underrated. For centuries, Wakasa played an important role in Japan's food culture through the historic Saba Road, the route that carried fresh seafood from the Sea of Japan to the ancient capital of Kyoto. Salted mackerel was the most famous delivery, so valuable that this path became known as the road that fed the capital. Here, you can discover how Wakasa helped supply the imperial table and shape Japan's culinary history. You can even join hands-on workshops like making your own chopsticks. I also saw an enormous pair of chopsticks on display. Fukui Prefecture is actually known for its chopstick craftsmanship, and the region even holds a record with chopsticks recognized by Guinness World Records as the largest. This place is a must visit and it's a free of entrance. We made a quick stop at a roadside station. Always fun way to see local specialties. Fresh produce, souvenirs, regional snacks, a small but lively glimpse of everyday Fukui. You can even wear a traditional local basket while walking around and shopping. It's a simple way but fun activity to try if you stop by here. Of course, you can't visit Fukui without eating crab, especially in the colder season. Sweet, fresh, full of umami. We waited an hour to get in, but it was worth every minute. I am excited for our next adventure, making washi paper. Washi paper is an important part of Japanese cultural heritage. At this place, you can either make your own washi paper or buy beautifully finished ones from the shop. There are many ready-made designs, but I decided to try making something myself. I chose to make a Japanese fan. Before starting, they gave a quick explanation. We started by placing a square frame into the water mixture. As you lift it, a thin layer of fibers stays on the surface. And repeat to get that thickness. And that becomes the paper. Then came the fun part, decorating. We added small details like leaves and flowers to create patterns. We could also drop water-based colors onto the surface. Watching the colors spread was really satisfying, and every design turns out unique. It feels slow, mindful, almost therapeutic. They told us it needs to dry completely before attaching it to the fan. So the final step had to be done at home. Attaching the dried paper to the fan. And here is the finished result. It's a beautiful souvenir, and even more special because I made it myself. Definitely worth trying if you visit. We actually slept in the car last night, and when we woke up, we were greeted by such beautiful view. After getting ready, we headed to our next destination. We visited in autumn, and honestly, I think it's one of the best times to come. Before entering, visitors first wash their hands at the purification area. It's a traditional way of cleansing and preparing yourself before stepping into the sacred space. Before exploring the temple, visitors can watch a short introductory video. It explains the history of the temple, daily life of the monks, and what to expect during the visit. It was established in 1244 by Dogen, the founder of Soto Zen Buddhism in Japan. If you look up, you'll notice the beautiful ceiling details. You might not notice it at first, but it really adds to the charm of the place. The atmosphere is different. Solemn, quiet, almost sacred. It's not just a place to visit. It's a place to slow down, breathe, and simply be present. Right outside Daihonzan Eiheiji, we tried something simple, but deeply traditional, Goma tofu. This place has a meaningful history connected to the temple. Where simple, mindful food has long been part of Zen practice. In Zen cuisine, meals are meant to be balanced, nourishing, and free from excess. And Goma tofu reflects that philosophy with its simple ingredients and gentle flavor. Soft, silky, and delicate in flavor. A quiet, comforting way to end the journey. This journey through Fukui was more than sightseeing. It was about slowing down, experiencing, and appreciating the beauty in every moment. Thanks for joining me on this trip. And if you haven't watched part 1 yet, don't miss it. That's where the adventure started. Until then, keep exploring, stay curious, and travel smart.